Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. What's going on, guys? Now, in the wake of this weekend's fight with Andre Ward and Alexander Brand, following the fight, an interview came out on FightHype.com. Shout out to those guys, even though whatever. Shout out to them for grinding. Shout out to Fight, but an interview came out where after the fight, Alexander Brand, Sergey Kovalev, they met face to face. Brand turns to Kovalev and he says the following. He says, I quote, "He has no power," in reference to Andre Ward. "He has no power, no power. You're going to knock him out." Now, that's not a secret. We know Andre Ward has no power. He's had 30 fights, he's had 15 knockouts, and not just that. When you look at, particularly since the comeback, since his return to regularly fighting again this year, Andre Ward, when he punches you, he slaps with a lot of his punches. This is not hard to see. He slaps you with a lot of his punches, and that's taking away from any power he does have. And even when he does, the straightest punch he probably throws out of all of his punches would probably be a straight right hand. And when he throws that, even that doesn't have a lot of power behind it. So what I'm saying is, the number one issue for Andre Ward in that Kovalev fight is going to be keeping him honest, because if he doesn't have enough power, Kovalev can walk right through those punches, because we've seen Kovalev in there with game fighters before. We saw him in there with Nathan Cleverly. Nathan Cleverly is a tough light heavyweight. Nathan Cleverly was in a war last year with one of the better punchers in the division with Andre from Farah, and Kovalev ate some good shots from Cleverly, and he was able to take those. Pascal won. When Pascal gave Kovalev was so confident in that fight, he barely trained for it. And in that fight, Pascal landed some good flush shots on Kovalev, and he took them really, really well. So if Pascal and Cleverly, two guys who are solid punchers at 175, who have proven that over time, did nothing to Kovalev, there's no reason to believe that Andre Ward could do that. Now, could Andre Ward outbox Kovalev? That's very feasible. But I wouldn't count on it, because if he's going to outbox Kovalev like we've seen Mayweather do to many of his opponents, we've seen Mayweather outbox Canelo, we've seen Mayweather outbox, just a whole host of guys, pretty much most of the guys he's fought. The reason he was able to do that, even at 147, a lot of people want to talk about Mayweather and that he doesn't have any power. He doesn't have a lot of power at 147, but he has just enough to keep these guys honest, and that's very important when you're fighting a guy like Kovalev, who, contrary to popular belief, isn't just some puncher. Kovalev, under John David Jackson, over time, has developed very good boxing skills, and he can get on that back foot, and he can pump that jab, and he can shift, and he can give you a straight with either hand, a straight punch with either hand, and if he lands that, it's very hard. He has that type of power that changes your perception on a fight, and I think Ward's performance, and I've made no secret of this. If you guys go watch the video where I talked about favoritism and double standards in regards to Andre Ward, I made that very clear. Going the distance to Alexander Brand is terrible. It's not, and it shouldn't be accepted by even his own fans, because if you're gonna call it, I get it. Brand is awkward, whatever. He's never been knocked out. I get that, but he's 39. First of all, keep in mind he was 39 years old. Okay, he took the fight on 3 weeks' notice. Ward was able to land pretty much whenever he threw more than one punch. And the thing is, it wasn't like he was one of those guys, because you do get in boxing sometimes you do get those guys who are just overly protective, or they avoid getting knocked out by not really throwing that many punches. But Brand wasn't one of those guys. Brand was throwing punches. He was there. He was ripe for the picking. He was there for the taking, and Ward couldn't get him out of there. So that looks very bad on Ward. Okay, so all these things adding up just don't look good for him so far. So if he does beat Kovalev after the way all this is beginning to look, you gotta respect him. But I think that's going to be a big problem for him in the Kovalev fight. The fact that he's not just fighting some guy who only has power. This guy has boxing skills. This guy hits angles very well. This guy, you know, has, like I said, the power, that kind of power that changes your perception on a fight. So for Ward, you know, I think asking him, if you're going to ask Ward to change his style and basically increase his punch output by double or even triple, that's asking way too much. Because at this point, it's like I've said in many videos, when you bake a cake, it's a damn cake. And right now, yeah, that's Andre Ward's style is, and he's looking, the way his style looks, you know, on a lesser scale, you know, looks very similar to Bernard Hopkins, and we saw Kovalev do that style. He was rendered ineffective for 12 rounds, and he was able to knock Hopkins down. And although people want to say, well, you know, Hopkins was an old man, that is very true. Hopkins was, what, 47, 48 years old when Kovalev fought him, but guess what? Hopkins was also a very active fighter, fighting 2 to 3 times a year against, you know, top guys in his division. You know, he had beat Pascal, fought Pascal multiple times, beat Shumanov. You know, he had beat some solid guys in the division, so it wasn't like he hadn't proven himself. He proved himself, so that's a great win for Kovalev, and I think we've seen what that style has done against Kovalev, and it just doesn't look good for Ward. So that's just why I stand with the fight. But I found it very interesting that Brandon actually went over and said that to Kovalev. So you guys let me know what you think. Alexander Brandon tells Sergey Kovalev Andre Ward has no power and that you will knock him out. So my question to you guys, especially any of you Andre Ward fans out there, is that do you think that Ward is going to have enough power to keep Kovalev on it? I'm not asking you if he's going to knock him out, because I just don't see that happening. But do you think that he has enough power to keep Kovalev honest and to outbox him? Because that is feasible if he just has enough. Let me know in the comments down below. Take the time to subscribe, and you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Daniel. So until next time, take care, guys.